Nightmare to actually visit Tokyo for the Olympics. A number of norms that have been put in place considering that it's happening amid a pandemic. And Rahul Rawat has given us this report on exactly what his experience was traveling from Delhi to Tokyo.
The buzz at the Delhi airport was missing. And considering the times we are living in, it was expected. The Indian women's tennis team of Sania Mirza and Ankita Raina was also headed to Tokyo to join the rest of the contingent at the Olympic Village, which is also under a cloud of fresh COVID cases now. For journalists who were flying out from different parts of the world, there was a fear of the unknown, having already gone through hundreds of pages of documentation. Armed with a couple of apps that failed to launch multiple times, it was a big struggle. The journey finally began at 6 in the evening, and we jumped 3.5 hours ahead of Indian time when the aircraft had a rough touchdown at the Tokyo International Airport. Perhaps it was a sign of things to come.
While the airport wore a deserted look, the volunteers were spread all across trying to help foreign nationals from various compliances and regulations laid down by the government and the organizing committee. Turned out to be a massive time-consuming exercise.
There were hardly any passengers in the aircraft, and the airport also presented a similar look. Volunteers tried their best to ensure that everyone had OCHA, the health monitoring app, on their smartphones. As it turned out, everyone had it, but it was hardly working to its full potential. Gradually, as one moved ahead from one section of volunteers to the other, the volume of papers that one was holding kept on increasing. A couple of hours after going through the so-called routine processes, we reached the COVID testing area. And in an Atmanirbhar kind of a way, one had to spit into a plastic tube before submitting the sample. Then the wait for the report began. It took them 45 to 50 minutes, and when the results finally arrived, there was a sense of relief. But all this while, the lull around was hard to avoid. After all, the Olympics were just 2 sleeps away. There were still a couple of formalities to go through, but in 3.5 hours, all was done. Some say we were lucky because there were other foreign nationals who took 4 to 6 hours to get through that tedious process.
I had the 4 hours in the formularies and training and the test COVID. It's very tired, but the Olympic Games is the people.
So how much time did it take for you to get this paperwork done?
The airport, the 4 hours.
Amid protest and fear of COVID, the Japanese government and the IOC are fighting a tough battle, and a safe Olympics will be nothing less than gold. But for now, the buzz surely is missing.
The Olympics are a celebration of sports with festivities all around. But this time, the emotions are running a little dry in this host city because of the impact that this pandemic has had in the lives of everyone. But the show must and will go on. With video journalist Shiv Prashant, this is Rahul Rawat in Tokyo for India Today.
These are extraordinary circumstances. The Olympic Games are being held amid a pandemic, and you can see that there is quite a bit of stress and pressure for the players, for the organizers, for the coaches, for everyone involved. Boria Mazumdar is in Tokyo, and he's filed this report on how even eating out, having breakfast, is such a tedious task because there's such a fear of catching the virus.
So here we are at the breakfast hall of the hotel. People here are all picking up their breakfast. You can also take takeaway because you do not want to sit here, and if there is a crowd, that's what you need to do. Staying safe is the most important issue at this point in time here in Japan. I'm going to go there. If you can see, you can eat these dishes in your room. That's the most important point, and we will precisely do that. Here is the takeaway bag. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to put my cutlery in this. Put all of it. And here's it. here's the option. So you can pick one of these. You can pick one of these. You can take the salad. There you go. And then we can just proceed down this alley. All of our journalistic colleagues and people from across the world. Hello, hello. Hi. You know, the whole point at this point in Japan is to stay safe and ensure that we have a games. We have a games without hitch. So you can pick any of these, and these are all disposable containers, as you can possibly see. You can take any of this. You can take your milk. You can take your yogurt, your fruit, and move on. So honestly, the bubbles are in place, but to enforce the rigidity and the strictness of the bubble is very difficult, and we know that from our experience in India. That's precisely the challenge the organizers are facing at this point in time. I'll keep bringing you such ground reports from here in Tokyo. Keep watching this space. As I take my breakfast, here's my orange juice. I'll take my breakfast and disappear into my room because you do not want to take even an iota of chance.
With days to go for the Olympics, stay tuned to us here on